Switching gears now. We're coming up. We're on the last quarter of 22 for 23. What do you think of, is a short-term rental a good investment?
Fuck no. Hell no. Short-term rentals is for 2023. I would say stay away from them big time. And honestly, I would say if you got into short-term rentals like recently, bunker down because you're about to have a tsunami coming up, you know. Just as my opinion, as in these other quarterly awards, these other quarter reports, yeah, no, right, that came out. But like I think people are going to lose their jobs. Companies lost money, right? Companies lost money. People are going to be going on less vacations, especially if you got these. If you're not in a really, really, really good vacation spot, I ain't talking about like, hey, I got a place in the mountains or I got a place by this river. Those are going to take some hard hits, in my opinion, because a lot of people are not going to be able to go ahead and go vacation over there. So if you have an Airbnb for 2023, get ready for your first hurricane.
Mm-hmm. Now, going on that one, do you think that people that survived the pandemic, where it came through the short-term rentals, that if they weren't careful, they're about to get knocked out because just back to back?
Yes and no. And I'll just take myself for example because I'll just use myself as an example. 2020 was a fucking train wreck for short-term rentals and short-term rentals, period. But the bounce back has been pretty damn good, right? If you could have survived 2020, you can survive this, right? Because 2020 was a dead stop. This is going to be a massive slowdown, right? The problem is with these people who are just now getting these short terms didn't have to go through 2020. They got the after effect of the 2020 and got the good deals, right? And where everybody was going back on vacation. And then you got about a year and a half of that, right? Year and a half of that. And now here we are. Inflation's high, recession is right around the corner again, with the new definitions. And then market's about to crash. And yeah, so you're about to go through your first train wreck, you know, bunker down. My advice when this stuff happens, if you got an Airbnb that has all these subscriptions and all this other stuff, you probably want to cut those, right? Lower your cost as far as like, everyday or monthly costs. Try to get them as low as possible. Yeah, and if you have grass and stuff like that, if you don't have people vacationing, maybe you don't need the grass cut every week or every other week. Just little things like that, they would totally help because that mortgage is coming.
So on that one though, what do you think about traveling nurses? Do you think that affects to it? Do you think you got to switch it up a little bit, or you think short-term rentals are viable if you're going with traveling nurses?
I think that, let's say, okay, so here's with traveling nurses, usually traveling nurses get a good relationship with the places that they're going to. Especially if they go there frequently, they usually have a good Airbnb or a good hostess or two that they like to go back and forth to instead of doing something new all the time, right? So usually traveling nurses usually have that down. But again, if you're in an Airbnb, if you're in a location, I wouldn't say Airbnb or a short rental location that is for that, then you're in a good place. I'm talking about that's not more of a vacation place. That's kind of like a necessity. That's not a vacation to me, you know, because this is a job that's kind of like a hotel service. But when you're talking about pure vacation, I got this place in the mountains, or I got this place, this cabin over here, or this lake house. Yeah, you know, or an odd town that just people just go to just a vacation. Just really like, you know, yeah, I think you're going to take a hard hit.
Yeah. Again, you know, this is coming back from the realtor side. When I have a client talking about, hey, Airbnbs, I mean, that's something to think about. You really do have to look at where are we going? Like where I'm looking at it, our economy is good, but we have to look at it from a different perspective of our economy is great. People that are coming into here may not have the best, you know what I mean? They might be suffering, kind of like what you're saying. And so I think that does take an effect of where you have to look at, not only are you looking at just your local area, but who's coming into your area, right? Like, if you're in Florida or you're around Disneyland or all those different things, you can have everybody come there. Yep. But in my area, it's a very more tailored down to certain people. Like we're not having somebody from Europe come to Lubbock, Texas and be like, hey, I'm just here to see
exactly
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here just to see that, or like Buddy Holly, you know, is the most thing we got here. So I think you got to really look at it. And from what I'm getting from everything from you on this one is it's taking a step back and really looking about everything overall, right? Not just like, hey, we got everything's good right now. We're getting it in, we're doing that, but what does it affect you? And I think this probably speaks more to short-term rentals is when the economy affects not just you, but it also affects your consumers, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. So this just goes back to just all old supply and demand. Things are staying on the market a lot longer, right? Things are staying in the market a lot longer. Guess what I don't need? Employees. New policies are coming out. Guess what I don't need? Employees. Because of these new bizarre policies, you know? So it's and then on top of that, the PPP money running out. It's actually gone. It's running out. So a lot of these companies that were surviving on PPP money, you got to cut the employees. You got to do something. You know, that's just what it is. Again, I say the people who working from home are going to go first. I hate to be like that, but I mean, honestly, to fix inflation, you have to stop spending. Right? You have to start spending. This is why they keep raising things up, right? And unfortunately, how it goes, people have to lose their jobs because you have too much supply and not enough demand. So if I have too much supply, it's just common knowledge. If I have too much supply, why do I have all these employees staying here if I can't sell anything? That's it.
Yeah, I agree on that one. Like I said, I think like looking at it from a realtor's perspective, if you're in a short-term rental and you're thinking about, hey, I can get out really fast, I would tell you no. I would really advise against that. And even so, what we're seeing a lot as well is a lot of people do not understand their market has shifted and that they're going to sit for a little bit longer. You know, we had a period of time where the realtor, the seller, and all those people, they didn't have to do much to sell their home.
No.
Now everybody is almost in a single line concession that like, hey, we're gonna negotiate. And so when people are already coming to the idea that we're going to negotiate, like just know that means we can negotiate a lot of different things. So I kind of going back to what you're saying is like, I think if you're going to have Airbnb and you're going to go in for a long haul, like you said, strap down, like what expenses, and this is just, I think overall business stuff though, what expenses, and I'm doing this for my clothing company, I'm doing this for my business as well. So they're saying, what do we need to operate? What don't we need? And do we really need to do these things or can I get it cheaper? And I think if business is looking at negotiating their employees, their salaries, and that's another thing too, as well, is some people are sitting there saying we might hire more people, but we're not paying as much. That's also something else that people that have not been talking about is that they're going to sit there and say, we're not offering this no more. We're offering below. Why? Where else are you going to go?
Yeah. So, and you know what, you may have this opportunity to come up on an Airbnb as well, right? This may be your time to capitalize on a property, a business that's failing. And having business fail all the time. This may be your time to shine and inherit a business, a failing business, and to turn it around, right? Just because some people just can't handle it. Airbnbs, just short-term rentals lose money quick, okay? Lose money quick. Matter of fact, as of yesterday, I just got a cancellation on one of my bookings, right? It was a $3,500 booking cancellation, right? You have to be prepared for this stuff, right? I've been doing it so long. I'm like, okay, cool. This is why I don't move any of this cash because I know this is because I know people, do this all the time. But I know it's one of these dates that is so high in demand that I'll probably get this thing filled up probably today or tomorrow. So it's just one of those things. I've had massive cancellations for that. And you know what? That cancellation could have been probably due to somebody just losing something, or, hey, we got to start budgeting now because they know the economy's shifting. So that example, what I just gave you is what I'm talking about. Get ready to bunker down, and you probably have more things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you look at the news, people still remember 2008. So people are preparing and they're kind of already hunkering down now, cutting costs. So I think that's good things to live by.
Yeah.
Now,